What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to check out a new trap in the Blackmar Diemer Gambit. This is an awesome trap. You're going to win a lot of games. Check it out. So the Blackmar Diemer Gambit usually starts with d4, and your opponent plays d5, and you bust out with e4, giving them the pawn. Alternatively, if you're an e4 player, you can play e4. Your opponent comes in with d5, wants to play Scandinavian, and you play d4. Same thing. Usually the opponent will take, and then knight to c3, attacking this pawn. Your opponent's going to defend the pawn with knight to f6, and then f3. This is the standard move order here. Opponent takes, and you take back with the knight. And here you have the Blackmar Diemer Gambit. From here, one of the most common moves is bishop down here to g4, also sometimes g6, but the second most common move is e6. You're going to see e6 a lot, and that's what we're going to look at today. Just as a really brief side note, if bishop to g4, I like to play h3 right away. If he takes, you could take back with the queen. If he backs up, you play g4, bishop here, and then knight here. And this is pretty good for white. But today, we're going to look at what happens if e6. The first move I would suggest is this pinning move, bishop to g5. And 9 times out of 10, your opponent will play bishop to e7, which we're going to look at. But what if the opponent immediately plays h6? Just as another little side note, if he immediately plays h6, there's this cool line where you take the knight, drawing out the queen, you throw in this check, your opponent's going to block with the pawn, because that's the cool thing, and you completely ignore this, and you just castle. And they're going to be like, oop, you blundered a piece, but you didn't, because now knight e5, and this queen is completely embarrassed, and he can no longer defend f7, and white is actually winning here. You turn on the engine, and you can see, give it a second to warm up. There it goes. White is winning this game. A couple of cool little sidelines just to show you some of the things that can happen in the Blackmar Diemer Gambit. But today we're actually going to take a look at, just a review here. After the knight takes on f3 and your opponent plays e6, you're going to play this pinning move, and he actually plays the proper move, bishop to e7. From here, I would suggest a bishop to d3. And now your opponent will usually castle. You just keep trying to build an attack. What happens if h6 now? This happens a lot. I see it all the time. h6 here, there's a cool sequence, and many of my opponents will fall for it. You take the knight, bishop takes, and here's the special move right here. A move that's not played a whole lot, but it is deadly. Knight e4. And you want your opponent to think you just blew it. And it seems like all the time my opponents see this hanging pawn. Oops, you got 2 attackers and only 1 defender, and your opponent goes for it. Bishop takes d4. This is what we want, because this is a free piece. But it's defended by the queen, but you already maybe see. Take a look at the position carefully, and look what's going to happen after knight takes bishop and queen takes knight. Oh, I think you see it. Maybe not. Let's show you. Knight takes bishop. He thinks he's won a piece. Queen takes knight. Boom. Bishop, b5 check. This queen is lost. Undefended, attacked. All the queen can do is block, and you take. The most common move I have seen is just knight c6, just trying to hope that maybe you take this pawn and maybe the knight can recapture defending the bishop, the queen, but of course you're not going to do that. Do not take this pawn. Just allow this bishop to be taken, which is also risky, because after you've won the queen, which now you're winning the game, even if they do take here, you're busting up here. I mean, this game is completely over right here, which if they don't resign, they'll probably take. Boom, queen takes. There's only one move he'll think about right here. And then you throw this check in, and this game is completely over right here. So that's a really cool trap. And I highly recommend the Blackmar Diemer Gambit for traps like this. There's several others. I've done videos on them. But just to recap here, you get into the Blackmar Diemer, however you get into it, whether d4, e4, this is your position. Pawn takes, knight c3, knight f6, f3, pawn takes, knight takes. We're looking at e6. We're going to pin the knight. He's going to unpin, bishop d3, and then h6. Takes, bishop takes, and now the key move, knight to e4. And then black is like, oops, a free pawn. negative. Queen takes, and check. Game over. I mean, obviously, your opponent might see what's going on here. After it takes back and you play this move, maybe play something like this, you could still take here. And if queen takes, you castle, and you still have a pretty damn good attack going on right here. And if after you take your pawn takes, well, you're doing pretty well. You've doubled his pawns, and you're doing just fine right here as well. So you're going to get a good position here. Probably white has an edge in this position. Very, very slight edge right here. Computer suggests queen e2 in this position. And that's if your opponent plays bishop to d7. If something else, the trap doesn't work like you hoped, you're still going to have a fine game. You don't have to play some crazy move where you're losing if your opponent doesn't fall for the trap. So really like the Blackmar Diemer Gambit. Highly recommended. Definitely give it a try and see if you can get in this position and play this awesome move right here, knight to e4, and then you're going to win that queen. Just keep in mind, after this move, do not take here. It's tempting, like, oops, some kind of just to get the pawn, because you figure, oh, I'll take the pawn, then I'll take the queen. Nope, because that knight will take defending the queen. So take that queen right away. And from here, I mean, the computer even suggests don't take the bishop, to just castle, and then your bishop goes to safety. I mean, this game is just over. You guys have a great day. Let me know what you think of this trap. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you next time.